Loveridge, and we're talking about the recent vintage car run that was just so successful. Ashley, good to talk to you about this because it was such a fantastic event.
It was excellent. We had a brilliant turnout considering the weather that we had. 241 vehicles entered from various parts of the country. We had a Leicester double-decker bus, other vehicles from Plymouth, Ludlow and other way off places.
Just incredible. How long have you been running this now?
This is the 11th year for the run to Laugharne, the Under Milkwood Run. Next year will be the big run, as it's the Dylan Thomas centenary.
Okay. You were doing other things before that though, weren't you?
The Festival of Transport, which is now in the city centre, that's been running 20 years. It started at the airport, and in all I've done about 37 events at various locations, indoor and outdoor around Swansea.
So some of the cars that were in now wouldn't have qualified or been around, like they wouldn't have been coming 20 years ago.
That's right. Some of the Capris and some of the Minis, they were pretty new cars then, you know.
And you do this as, this is really a hobby, or
this is purely a hobby. It started out as a hobby, but it's an obsession or a disease or whatever you call it now. It's in my mind all the time, and I really enjoy doing it. I've met a lot of nice people.
And you've gathered a lot of volunteers and people around you.
I got it. Well, my wife is brilliant. She lets me get on with it, and you know, it can be stressful at times. I've got a lot of good friends that have been with me basically from the start that come along. Some I only see once a year. They come down from Essex, come down to help me park up the vehicles, park them when they get to Laugharne, and look after the people during the day.
I arrived at Mumbles on Saturday morning, said, "Where's Ashley?" And everyone said, "He's around somewhere. Go that way and ask again." But you just, everyone knows you there.
That's right, that's right. It's, the pity is, a lot of people know me, and of course I suppose I'm the one person in the car park where everyone's looking around saying, "Oh, there's Ashley," but when people come up to me very often, I don't know their name until they say, "Oh, I got a Morris Cowley or something," and then I revert back to when I was writing the Christmas cards out with and doing the entry forms and things, and then I say, "Oh, Mr. Jones has got a Morris Cowley," so that helps you that way then.
I'm really intrigued with the police starting the race. How did that start?
It started about 5 years ago. I needed a patron, and a friend of mine knew Mel J, who was the police chief of police at the time. He came along and became a patron. When he retired, Mark Mathias took over the position, and now of course it's Julian Williams.
I talked to Mark last year, and he was, I mean, it's a real highlight of his year to be there.
That's right. It's nice to see, you know, the police get a lot of bad press and things like that. They're really good to deal with for the road run, and they like to see the community spirit and seeing people visit in the area.
And how did it start that it was Swansea to, or Mumbles to Laugharne?
Well, what originally happened was I was running a one-day show, and some of the lorry drivers said to me, "Well, it's a long way to come to Swansea just for a show." So they said, "If you could do a road run, we could leave on the Friday night, get down for the Saturday morning, take part in the run, overnight in Swansea, and then take part in the show on the Sunday before going back home Sunday night, Monday morning." They could make a weekend of it. So I started, the first two runs went down to, from the Dylan Thomas Centre down to Carmarthen Showground. Of course, once you were at Carmarthen Showground, there was nothing for people to do. So one winter's day, I was still looking at Carmarthen, but we went for a run to Laugharne, and I thought, well, if I approached the councillors in Laugharne or Carmarthenshire Council, or whoever was in charge of the area, maybe I could link up with the Dylan Thomas, the boathouse, and take people from Swansea down to Laugharne. So we're looking for a name for it, and of course the Under Milkwood Run just came about.
Natural, isn't it, really?
Natural, yes, yeah.
And for the mayor, I talked to the mayor, and it's a big day for them.
That's right. Every year the Lord Mayor comes down with either a consort or the Lady Mayoress, who depend on who's with them. And we normally get the leader of the council coming down. They're met by the dignitaries down in Laugharne, and it's nice to see everyone. It's connected Swansea with Laugharne, and Laugharne gets a lot of repeat visitors through it, as does Swansea, and a lot of people that have come to Laugharne on the run had never actually been there before. And once they've been there once, they keep going down very often. I'll see them during the year. We've been down to Laugharne, we had fish and chips, so we've had a meal in one of the restaurants down there, and it's worked well.
So how long do you see this going on for now? Do you next year is a big year?
That's right. I'll just keep going until forever, I think. It's always in my mind. It's I can't get away from it. I even arranged some Morris Minor gathering out in Malta some years ago. So if I moved it abroad, I would be involved in doing something out there. So
well, it's now is a real sort of event for Swansea that everyone looks forward to.
That's right.
So good luck with what I would say for the future of that.
There we are. That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ash.
Thanks.